The downfall of Polo G. Just a few years ago, Polo G wasn't just hot. He was unavoidable. Everywhere you turned, YouTube, TikTok, the radio, his voice was there. Raw, emotional, pain-filled, real. He wasn't just making music. He was telling stories people actually felt. And for a moment, it looked like nothing could stop him. But today, the dominance has faded. The anticipation isn't the same. And the question is getting louder and louder. What really happened to Polo G? Because this isn't just a story about success. It's a story about momentum, expectations, and how fast the music industry can turn on you. To understand the fall, you have to understand just how high he climbed. Polo G's story starts in Chicago, a city known for producing some of the most influential but also most troubled artists in hip-hop. Growing up on the North Side, he wasn't surrounded by luxury. He was surrounded by survival. Violence, loss, and constant pressure shaped his reality. And like many before him, he had two choices: get lost in it, or find a way out. Music became that way out. But what made Polo G different from the beginning wasn't just talent. It was honesty. He didn't rap about fantasies. He didn't create an image. He spoke about what he lived. That authenticity became his weapon. When he dropped Pop Out with Lil TJ, it didn't just blow up, it connected. The energy was real. The chemistry was perfect. And the message hit home for millions of listeners. Suddenly, Polo G wasn't just another upcoming rapper. He was the next big thing. Then came Die a Legend. And this is where things started getting serious. The album wasn't just a collection of songs. It was a statement. Tracks like Finer Things told stories of struggle and hope. Through the Storm showed resilience. And throughout the project, you could hear one thing clearly: pain. But not just pain for the sake of it. Pain with purpose. That's what made fans lock in. Because anyone can rap, but not everyone can make people feel. And Polo G mastered that early. But he didn't stop there. Instead of slowing down after success, he doubled down. When he released The GOAT, expectations were already high. And somehow, he met them, then exceeded them. At this point, Polo G had built a reputation. He was consistent. He was reliable. And most importantly, he delivered. Fans trusted him. Every drop felt like an event. Every song felt meaningful. And then came the peak. The year everything aligned. His album Hall of Fame dropped and debuted at #1. But the defining moment? Rapstar. That song changed everything. It wasn't just a hit. It was a global takeover. #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Millions of streams daily. A viral moment across every platform. And what made it even more powerful was that it wasn't forced. It felt natural. Like Polo G had fully stepped into his moment. At that point, the conversation was different. People weren't asking if he was next up. They were asking how big he could become. But this is where things start to shift. Because reaching the top is one thing. Staying there is something else entirely. After Hall of Fame, fans began to notice small changes. At first, it was subtle. A familiar flow here. A similar beat there. Nothing too major. But over time, it started adding up. Songs began to sound alike. The emotional storytelling, while still present, felt less impactful. And critics started saying something dangerous. Polo G sounds the same. Now in hip-hop, that's one of the worst things you can hear. Because the audience gets bored quickly. And when boredom sets in, attention disappears. But music wasn't the only issue. Around the same time, Polo G ran into legal trouble. His arrest in Miami shortly after celebrating his album release made headlines everywhere. Now, situations like this don't always destroy careers. But they do affect momentum. They create distractions. They shift the narrative. And for an artist at his peak, timing like that can be costly. Then came the biggest issue of all: inconsistency. After dominating for years, Polo G slowed down. Less music, fewer major releases, long gaps between projects. And in today's industry, that's a problem, because the game doesn't wait. While he was stepping back, others were stepping up. Artists like Lil Baby kept dropping hit after hit. NBA YoungBoy stayed constantly active, flooding the internet with music. And Rod Wave continued evolving his emotional sound. They adapted. They stayed visible. They stayed relevant. Meanwhile, Polo G started fading from the spotlight. And then came what should have been his comeback moment. Hood Poet. This was the project that was supposed to reset everything. The album that would prove he still had it. Fans were ready. The anticipation was there. But instead of dropping at the perfect moment, it kept getting delayed. Again, and again, and again. Each delay chipped away at the hype. What started as excitement turned into frustration. And eventually, people stopped caring. And that right there is how quickly things can change. Because in the music industry, timing is everything. Miss your moment, and someone else takes your place. Now here's the reality. Polo G didn't disappear. He didn't completely fall off. He still has millions of listeners. He still gets streams. He still has a core fanbase. But the difference is undeniable. He went from leading the culture to watching it move without him. And that's what makes this story so interesting. Because it's not about failure. It's about lost momentum. Polo G proved he could reach the top. But now, he's in a position where he has to prove something even harder. That he can evolve. Because the fans are still there. The talent is still there. The story is still there. But in today's world, that's not enough. Now it's about reinvention, consistency, and delivering at the right time. So the question isn't just, did Polo G fall off? The real question is this the end of his dominance, or the beginning of his comeback? Because one thing is certain, the next move he makes will define everything.